For this decorative glaze technique, we will be using masking tape and applying it to a fired bisque surface. So this mug has been through the kiln and it is bisque fired. Be sure to clean your bisque fired clay with a sponge to remove any dust or residue left over from the kiln. This will ensure that our glaze adheres correctly to the surface. So with a damp sponge, wipe down every surface outside and inside. We will be using some masking tape for this project, and masking tape comes in different sizes and brands. So there are different widths, and in the classroom we'll probably be using the ivory tan colored masking tape, but there's also blue or green painter's tape, and it works as well. We'll be using X-Acto blades to slice through, cut, and trim the masking tape, so please use these with caution. When you're working with an X-Acto blade, please be cautious about who is around you. Walk with it point down if you need to move around the classroom. And just be very careful not to cut yourself or anyone else by accident. When you're cutting, please don't cut directly on the table. For this demonstration video, I have a cutting board that I will be working on top of to make sure that my X-Acto blade does not cut through and damage our tabletop. In this demonstration video, I will be using a narrow masking tape and demonstrating what you can do with just straight lines for a geometric shape look. But you can choose whatever width you need, and you don't have to use just straight lines with your tape. You can actually cut curves or cut shapes out of your tape. If that's the case, select a piece of masking tape, apply it to a working surface, and draw/cut your design into the masking tape. Carefully peel away the parts that you're cutting loose, and you will be left with a more organic or custom designed shape that can be applied to the surface of the bisque clay. For this project, I recommend that you start with multiple lengths of masking tape prepared at your workspace. This is just a more time-efficient method of working, so that instead of constantly having to stop and trim segments of masking tape to work with, you have them all ready. Decide on the look you're going for and begin to apply the masking tape to the surface. Then you may lightly adjust it as needed, and when you're settled on the placement, firmly press the masking tape down to the surface. After it's applied, smooth it with your fingertips to get rid of any bubbles or wrinkles in the tape, and run your fingertips and fingernails firmly over the masking tape. You need to really press down on the tape, and I recommend your thumbnail for this, to make sure that the tape is stuck securely to the surface. Get your glaze materials ready, and when your masking tape design is to your satisfaction, you can begin applying glaze. The masking tape has a waxy surface that when the glaze touches it, it resists. The glaze does not want to stay on top of the masking tape. So these border pieces of masking tape are going to protect the bisque in those areas and prevent any glaze from staying in those areas. Consider them border frames around shapes that you get to apply colors in. You can apply solid colors or multiple colors of glaze depending on the look that you're going for. While the masking tape resists, don't be wasteful and purposefully get lots of glaze on the tape. It will result in a lot of mess and a waste of glaze. Let your glaze completely dry before beginning to remove the masking tape. Find the edges of your masking tape segments and carefully begin to peel them by picking up the tape with your fingernails. As you gently and slowly peel away the masking tape off of the surface of your project, there will be crumbs of glaze dust that falls off of the tape. Be sure to clean these up and sweep them off of your project if the colorful flecks fall onto other areas of your glaze color. If a speck of colored glaze falls onto a different area of glaze on your project and you don't remove it before firing, it will melt in the kiln and become a permanent spot in the surface of your glaze. Use a very soft bristled paintbrush to gently sweep away glaze crumbs and dust that resulted from the removal of the masking tape. As always, clean up your workspace when you're done. Throw away all the used pieces of masking tape and wipe away any glaze crumbs that were left over from the process.